What if the biggest threat to your family wasn't a stranger, but the truth you've been hiding? For 4 seasons, Trying has shown us that building a family isn't easy. Nikki and Jason fought through heartbreak, endless paperwork, rejection, and years of uncertainty just to become parents. But in Season 5, the battle changes completely. Because this time, the question isn't whether they deserve to be parents, it's whether love alone can hold a family together when the past suddenly comes knocking at the front door. And trust me, Episode 1 wastes absolutely no time putting that family to the test. So today, we're breaking down Trying Season 5, Episode 1, exploring the emotional conflicts, the character decisions, and the hidden themes that make this one of the show's strongest premieres yet. Let's begin. Before we dive into the episode itself, it's worth remembering why Trying has become such a beloved series. Unlike most family dramas, this isn't a show built around shocking twists or endless arguments. Instead, it's about ordinary people facing extraordinary emotional challenges. Every victory feels earned. Every mistake feels real. And that's exactly why Episode 1 hits so hard. The previous season ended with a moment fans had been anticipating for years. Princess finally learned that Nikki had secretly met her biological mother, Kat, and kept it hidden. Just as that painful truth came to light, Kat herself appeared at the family's doorstep. That single moment changed everything. Season 5 begins in the shadow of that revelation. One of the first things Episode 1 reminds us is that this isn't the same family we met years ago. Nikki and Jason aren't nervous first-time parents anymore. They're raising teenagers. And parenting teenagers comes with a completely different set of fears. You can't protect them from every disappointment. You can't make every decision for them. Sometimes all you can do is stand beside them and hope they'll trust you enough to let you help. That's where Nikki finds herself. Throughout the series, she's always tried to solve problems before they become disasters. But this time, the problem can't be solved with planning. It can't be fixed with another conversation. It can't be hidden anymore, because Kat is here. At first glance, it might seem like Kat is simply the new obstacle the writers have introduced to create drama, but that's not really what the story is about. Kat represents something much deeper. She represents the past, a past that Nikki and Jason could never erase, no matter how much love they gave Princess and Tyler. The series makes an important point here. Adoption doesn't erase biology, and biology doesn't erase love. Both realities can exist at the same time. That's what makes this conflict feel so authentic. No one is trying to replace anyone. Instead, every character is trying to figure out what family means now, and that's a much more interesting question. If there's one character driving the emotional heart of this episode, it's Nikki. On the surface, she's trying to stay composed. She wants the children to feel supported. She wants Jason to believe everything will be okay. She wants to convince herself that she's still in control. But underneath that calm exterior, she's terrified. Not because Kat is a bad person. Not because she thinks Princess loves her any less. But because every parent fears becoming less important in their child's life. It's a deeply human fear, one that doesn't disappear simply because you've done everything right. In many ways, Nikki isn't fighting Kat. She's fighting her own insecurity, and that's what makes her story so compelling. While Nikki wrestles with anxiety, Jason approaches the situation very differently. He's not pretending everything is perfect. He understands how complicated things have become, but instead of reacting emotionally, he focuses on what he can control, supporting Nikki, listening to Princess, being present for Tyler. It's a reminder of why Jason has always been one of television's most likable characters. He doesn't have all the answers. He never claims to, but he consistently shows up when his family needs him most. Sometimes that's enough. Perhaps the most fascinating part of Episode 1 is Princess. For years, she's wondered where she came from. Now those questions suddenly have a face. Imagine spending your entire life wondering about someone, and then one day, they're standing right in front of you. What would you say? Would you feel excited? Angry? Confused? Probably all three. That's exactly where Princess finds herself. She's hurt by Nikki's lie, but she's also curious about Kat. Those two emotions exist side by side, making every interaction feel emotionally authentic. The episode never forces her to choose between the two women. Instead, it allows her confusion to exist naturally, and that honesty is one of the reasons Trying stands out from so many family dramas. What makes Episode 1 so effective isn't a shocking twist, it's the emotional tension. Every conversation feels like it could change the family's future. Every silence carries weight. Even the smallest moments become meaningful because we know how much these characters have already been through together. Instead of asking whether this family will survive, the episode asks a much more difficult question. How do you move forward after trust has been broken? And more importantly, can honesty rebuild what fear almost destroyed? Those questions linger throughout the premiere, quietly setting up the emotional journey that Season 5 promises to explore. At this point, it feels like everyone is trying to keep the peace, but beneath the surface, old wounds are beginning to reopen. Princess wants answers, Nikki wants forgiveness, Jason wants to hold his family together, and Kat's arrival has only just begun to change the lives of everyone involved. But as complicated as things already seem, no one is prepared for the emotional challenges waiting just around the corner. Because what happens next doesn't just test Nikki and Jason as parents, it forces every member of the family to redefine what the word family truly means. As the episode progresses, the emotional distance between Nikki and Princess becomes impossible to ignore. Every conversation carries the weight of Nikki's secret, and Princess begins to question whether honesty has always been part of their relationship. At the same time, Kat's presence creates an entirely new family dynamic. She isn't portrayed as a villain or someone trying to take over. Instead, the episode presents her as another person carrying years of emotional baggage. That makes every interaction feel realistic rather than melodrama. Meanwhile, Jason continues to be the emotional anchor of the family. Rather than taking sides, he focuses on listening and supporting everyone involved. His calm approach reminds us why he has always been the heart of the series. What makes these scenes so engaging isn't explosive drama, it's the uncertainty. No one knows what the right decision is, and that's exactly what keeps viewers invested. But the biggest emotional challenge is still waiting. The most powerful twist in the premiere isn't simply Kat's return, it's what her return represents. For Princess, meeting her biological mother isn't about replacing Nikki, it's about understanding a missing part of her identity. The episode carefully explores this emotional conflict without forcing easy answers. At the same time, Nikki begins to realize that protecting someone by hiding the truth can sometimes cause even greater pain. Her biggest fear has never been Kat herself. It has always been losing the bond she shares with Princess. This is where trying separates itself from most family dramas. Instead of choosing heroes and villains, it allows every character to be understandable. By the end of the episode, everyone is standing at an emotional crossroads. Trust has been damaged, difficult conversations can no longer be avoided, and the family's future feels more uncertain than ever. And that's exactly what sets up the rest of Season 5. The ending of Episode 1 isn't about resolving conflict, it's about beginning a new chapter. Kat's return forces every character to rethink what family truly means. Nikki must learn that love sometimes requires letting go of control. Princess begins a journey of self-discovery, while Jason continues proving that compassion and patience are often the strongest forms of leadership. One of the episode's biggest strengths is that it refuses to offer simple solutions. Instead, it reminds us that families grow stronger not because they avoid difficult moments, but because they're willing to face them together. If this premiere is any indication, Season 5 is shaping up to be one of the most emotionally mature chapters of Trying. It balances heartfelt drama, gentle humor, and believable relationships in a way few television comedies manage. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Nikki made the right decision, or should she have told Princess the truth from the beginning? We'll be back with another breakdown very soon. Thanks for watching.